Efendim hoş geldiniz. Bugünkü konuğum çok kıymetli, çok değerli, çok uzak yollardan geldi. Paolo Volpara. Hoş geldiniz.
Hoş bulduk.
Bak ne güzel. Böyle çok daha iyi anlaşıyoruz.
Çok da
Nasılsınız?
iyiyim, teşekkür ederim.
Peki. Öncelikle tabii sizi tanımak isteriz. Türkiye'ye kaç yılında geldiniz?
Been in Turkey in and out, not permanently in Turkey, since 1989.
Sonra Türkiye'de evleniyorsunuz.
I married in Turkey with a Turkish lady that is now Italian, but Turkish nationality lady.
Seviyor musunuz Türkiye'yi?
What of Turkey? There are a lot of things of Turkey that I like. There are things of Turkey that I don't like. I lived in 7 or 8 countries in my life. There are things that are very good, and there are things that are not so good. In Turkey, the majority things are good.
Peki. Efendim kendisi bu arada OMM'nin kurucusu. Siz motosiklete nasıl başladınız?
Starting motorcycling or starting a motorcycling club? Starting a motorcycling, I go back to when I was 5 or 6, something like that. I started because at that time in Italy you start with a bicycle, then maybe your father or your grandfather has a bike, a motorcycle, you go and steal it and you try it, and then when you are, they say, 15, 16, if you have been good, Papa Noel brings you a 50cc motorcycle, and then you stay 4 or 5 years, and then you go to 125, and you finish. That's where I started. We were using very small motorcycle. It was very pleasant.
Peki. OMM nasıl kuruldu? Nasıl bu oluşum Türkiye'de oluştu ve siz neler yaptınız bununla ilgili?
Well, when I came over here, motorcycling is a very easy way to find friends. You are never alone if you are on a motorcycle. And I was servicing a motorcycle on the street of Ulus, changing an exhaust. And somebody stopped, and from there we start saying, okay, why we don't go out on Sunday? We went out on Sunday. Then he said, you're Italian. Why we don't ride in Italy? Remember, at that time there was no shop in Istanbul official. There were Sina Fioneri and Levent Bacchi, one in Asia and one in Europe. They were buying bike by themselves, and they were selling you a bike, the bike that they had there. And they were organizing occasionally some ride. So we went to Italy. I took a group of friends to Italy, and I realized that there is a lot of things to learn on motorcycling. And when we came back, I said, maybe we should do some training to ride more relaxed, without accident, without crashing. And that was it. That's how we started.
Peki o yıllarda tabii anlattığı bugünkü anlatımlarınızdan şunu anladım ki kask satan bir mağaza bile yoktu. Ve internet de yok. Ve siz bir eğitim vereceksiniz. Dolayısıyla bu ne kadar Türkiye'ye baktığınızda nasıl sizi zorladı?
No, actually, to be honest, we never thought to give training. We thought to educate ourselves. Training was a part, but the other part was, for example, visiting historical side of Turkey, learning more about the history of the country, learning about more the tradition of the country, stay in contact with other groups that are operating abroad and they have experience and bring the experience here. Motorcycling was at the beginning. BMW were not selling motorcycle. Honda didn't even have an office in Turkey. All the bikes were imported. Mostly Kawasaki was the brand at that time. Mm-hmm. So we didn't start thinking about training. We started thinking about how we can educate ourselves that we like so much motorcycle. And then slowly, I brought the experience that I had in England. The experience that I had in England was the Roadcraft system. That is a system designed for the policeman, and we use it on the road. Then we took motorcyclists from Turkey abroad. We went to Nürburgring, we went to Häckingen BMW school. We went to those schools that were outside of Turkey. There we met trainers, and I said, why you don't come to Turkey and train in Turkey? And that's how we started. So somebody like John Taylor came, Mick Wheeler came over here, the California Superbike, we brought first the California Superbike here. So we started using tools that were well proven abroad. We brought it here.
O günden bugüne geldiğimizde, o yıllardan bu yıllara baktığımızda neler değişti? Neleri değiştirdiğinizi görüyorsunuz kendiniz?
That's a 6 million question. Let's move backward a second. From when we started OMM and up to now, a lot of things have changed. The scenery has changed completely. Motorcycle at the beginning was for, I use a bad expression, but was from elite group in Turkey. You had to have a lot of money. Even now, probably you need a lot of money. But at that time, was people that had company, that had their own business, that were very successful in business. Now, the company came. Everybody is present in Turkey. You can buy a Klim or you can buy a Dainese in Turkey very easily. The bikes are all at disposal. So the scenery has changed. Now there are a lot of bikers on the road. In the old time, you have to remember that when we started OMM, the objective, and after 10 years, BMW came. We are now at the end of the 90s. BMW had as an objective 400 bike sales per year. So everything has changed now. It has become a wider level of participant. They come from different extraction, different social class, from different educational level. Bike is becoming more an exhibition and not a passion. I think there is a lot of showing on the bike, like there is a lot of showing on the car. You don't buy the bike because that's the bike that does the best job for you. You buy the bike because it shows well. Where we will go, I think this showing element will pass slowly, and people will go more into how can I get the maximum joy out of this machine. There is a lot of problem also on the circulation, the rules, the traffic rules, the cost of the machine, the cost of the petrol. And this can limit the expansion of motorcycle.
Şu anda bugün burada şunun için toplandık. İyi bir sürücü. İyi sürücü nasıl olur? Sizin için iyi sürücü ne demek?
I've been lucky, really lucky in my experience in Turkey to meet the people. Some of them are still in OMM, some left OMM, but they stay on the area around OMM, that are interesting, not specifically on riding, but they are interested in what riding can do for my education, for improving myself, for doing my job better, for being a better husband, for being a better friend, for being a better father. What motorcycle can teach? A motorcycle, like any other sport, if it's done in knowledge, can teach a lot. If you are a professional or a competitive swimmer, auto swimming, you take a lot of good indication, suggestion, and help to change your life. A motorcycle, it's a good teacher. It's a terrific teacher. Also, it doesn't accept a mistake. That's
Kontrol eğitimini Neden bu kadar önemsiyor?
See, a motorcycle on the road has two elements. The first element is, can you make the bike to do what you want to do? The second, can you move in a traffic that you don't control? Okay? There are millions of billiards that goes around, and you are one of the billiards. So the first part, it's very important. I didn't say that it's more important, but I say that it's fundamental and very important. Because let me give you this example. You are very good in controlling the traffic. You are seeing a car that come out from your right, and you have 50 meter. You are going at 80 kilometers an hour, you have a 50 meter to stop or you hit the car. If you don't know how to brake, if you cannot tell the bike, brake in 50 meters, you will go to the hospital. The problem is this, the problem is that you make a mistake with the car, you go to the caportage. You go a mistake with the bike, you go to the hospital. And that's very important. So to learn what I call control, that is in a safe area, to learn how to make the bike doing what you want to do, steering, braking, turning, all this movement that the bike can do, accelerating, it's very important. But what I said today is that you have to continue refresh this knowledge. You cannot learn it once and then, okay. Every time that you go on the bike, you have to check, do I know how to make the bike doing this?
Peki, bugün benim aha olarak aldığım şey, motosiklet egoyu besliyor dediniz. Peki, bizim ülkemizde zaten kullanıcıların çoğu, özellikle erkek kullanıcılar bu egoyla çok daha iyi besleniyor. Bundan nasıl kurtulacaklar? Nasıl kurtulacağız diyelim?
Motorcycle, it's a machine for ego. Build
Yes.
up ego, build up inside. Because it goes back to the chevalier, it goes back to the man alone with this machine and the horses, and you are free on the wind, and all this kind of bullshit. I can say bullshit, yes? Yes. Okay. Of course, other things build the ego. Probably the company you are working with build your ego, has tools to build your ego. We live in a society where the ego is the celebration. It's celebrated at every step. The way you dress, the way you eat, the way you drink, whatever you do, it's a celebration of ego. Now, the bike, it's a component of this ego. How you get rid? This is I would say, an existential spiritual exercise. You have to get out of yourself. And you have to start thinking that you are not built by yourself, you are not made by yourself, and you are not at the center of the universe. There are some other people around you, and there are people that have to be not only respected, but cared for. That when you go on the road with a bike, you are not the master of the universe. There are no master in the universe. So abandon yourself. If you think, a lot of philosophers in the old time and in the modern time speak about what you have to do to abandon your ego, your violence, because ego and violence has the same. Ego is seeing yourself against everybody. I ride against all the traffic. It's abandon the violence and go into recognizing that you are made by other people. I'm made by you in this interview. I'm not making this interview. You help me and I help you in making this interview. My ego is gone.
Kadın sürücüler Türkiye'de çoğaldı. Şimdi herhalde ilk başladığından bugüne geldiğimizde çok fazla bir artış oldu ve kendisi bugün çok bahsetti, söyledi. kadınların daha pratik olduklarını ve daha akıllıca motosikleti, değil mi? Öyle mi anladım, yanlış mı anladım bilmiyorum ama onlar hakkında ne düşünüyor?
I don't see it. I live on the south coast of Turkey. And maybe in Istanbul it's true, maybe in Ankara it's true. I don't see more women on motorcycling. Compared to Europe, I think the presence of women on bike is very low in Turkey. And I think it has to do with the fact that the helmet ruined the makeup. But, I'm joking, of course. But the woman, because has different experience, even different, not only different physical experience, but has difficult mental experience from the man, it's less prone to think herself as the center. The woman think herself as a center of a community, think more in a share form. And therefore, it's let's put it this way, I believe, and I may be wrong, that for a woman it's easier to abandon the ego and take a more virtuous standing than for a man. Because for a man, abandoning the ego, it looks also like abandoning the face. It's abandoning identity. It's not, but it looks like. For a woman, there is a lot of things that the woman has that do not relate to the ego. So for me, for the woman, it's easy to go towards a more existential, spiritual dimension. But I may be wrong. I have a very positive vision of the woman, maybe because my mother and my wife are very good women. My daughter is a very good woman. The women that I live with are extremely good.
İyi bir sürücü olmak isteyenlere neler söylemek istersiniz? Ya da en önemsediği şey, olmazsa olmaz.
I think the most important thing, yeah? That's a good question. The most important thing that I will say to a guy that wants to be a good motorcycle is to ask himself why he wants to do motorcycle and to answer honestly to that question. Answer deeply to that question and find the reason why he wants to ride a motorcycle. If he found the reason, he will find a perfect way to do motorcycle. If he found the reason. Because if you know why you do it, everything will be good. Think about yourself in your business. You are a successful businesswoman, okay? Think about the people that work with you. They are the ones that work with you because of the money. But they are the one that work with you because they like the work that they do. They also make money, but they're there because they like the work they do. That's the difference. Ask yourself, why I want to ride a motorcycle? Don't stay on the first answer. Go deep. That's it. That's all I can give as an advice.
Bize tabii OMM'yi kazandırdığınız için ben çok teşekkür ediyorum. Bizim ülkemize öncelikle tabii ki. Siz gerçekten katkısı çok büyük OMM'nin Türkiye'de. Bütün zaten şu anda var olan eğitimciler OMM'den gelme. OMM ile bir şekilde yolları kesişmiş ve eğitimci olmuş. Bizlere de bu katkıyı sağlıyor. Bugünden sonra sizin OMM ile ilgili, bu son projenizle ilgili ne söylemek istersiniz?
OMM should stay faithful to the original idea. That is not only training, but is education of the people that wanted to be educated, of the biker that want to be educated. If you think of the first 10 years, we had meetings where there were even people that were not bikers. They were coming just to share the time with us. The first meeting of OMM, the wife was coming. The wife was maybe not even a passenger, just because it was an effort to educate ourselves. And I think OMM should, sorry, this one, not the car. should release the accelerator on the training because there are so many schools and blah, blah, blah, blah, blah. Bring the concept of training to the level of education, what we have done today, virtues applied to riding, and extend on the original the knowledge of Turkey, the knowledge of the Turkish culture, the knowledge of the Kurdish tradition, the knowledge of the Turkish geography, the good experience around the world that you can bring here. You're speaking about women. I did an attempt 15 years ago to bring WOW. WOW is Woman on Wheel. It was a large, I don't know if it's still around, it was a large female motorcycle group with a terrific program of education. Bring one of those groups here, show them what is the reality, takes what they have good. OMM should be a cultural center for motorcycle.
Kendisine çok teşekkür ediyoruz.
My pleasure.
Bugün sizinle tanışmak ve bu röportajı yapmak bizim için büyük bir keyif oldu. Çok memnun olduk. İyi ki geldiniz.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for the time and thank you for the lights also.